it also felt kind of weird. I'm like, this is kind of like prostitution. We are in Los Angeles right now, one of my favorite cities in the world, and I've been here probably around 10 times now, but this time is a little bit different because it's actually the first time ever that I'm here in a relationship. So I'm not a single lady anymore, and I never really thought about this, and I never thought this could be a problem, but there actually are some really interesting things that I noticed that are super different than when you're in a relationship to when you're single, especially as a girl. So I don't know if you know, but clubbing in LA, and I would say America in general, I'm not so sure about that though, but like definitely in LA, is very, very different to clubbing in Germany, for example. So what happens is, if you're a girl in LA, it's super easy for you to go to clubs. Like, you just need to know some promoters, or you literally stand in front of a line at a club, and if you're with a couple cute girlfriends and you're dressed well and nice, then usually there will be guys like coming and talking to you and be like, hey, do you want to come to the club with us? And first it's like super awkward and weird because in Germany you pay, even as a girl, like you pay entrance, or you know someone, or you're on the guest list, but it's really not a big difference between guys and girls. Like sometimes maybe girls have to pay €5 and guys have to pay 10 or something, but other than that it's the same, it's pretty equal. And here in LA it's completely different. So when I first got here clubbing, I think it was in 2013, I went to a club and we kind of snuck our way in. I don't really remember how. And then we were inside of the club and suddenly a girl comes up to me and my girlfriend and she's like, hey girls, do you want to have a drink? And both of us were like, no thank you. Like, why is she talking to us? That's so weird. And we didn't know how it all worked. And then a couple minutes later, another guy came to us and he's like, hey guys, like, hey girls, come up to our table, you can have drinks for free, just come join us. And it was the same girl with him at the table. So we thought, okay, maybe we just try it. And then that was actually our first experience with a promoter. So that guy had the table with a lot of girls and we were able to drink for free. There was an after party we could go for free, and pretty much since then I and my girlfriend would go out to all these crazy parties in LA and go to after parties and go to dinner and didn't have to pay anything. So I know this is really different to at least Germany. I guess Europe, I would say, in general, because in Europe you don't really get invited to a club and you don't really get invited for dinner, and it also felt kind of weird. I'm like, this is kind of like prostitution. Like, you're like, what do you do? Like, you don't have to do anything obviously, but you just like, you get food for free, you get drinks for free. Like, what do you have to do in return? So we were like, what is this whole thing? But actually you don't. Like, you just literally go to the club, have fun, dance, party, and have a good time. And that is so different. So now that I'm here with my boyfriend, I obviously can't get into clubs as easy anymore because there's a guy with me. And I never really thought about it, but it is kind of hard as a guy to go to clubs in LA unless you're willing to pay a lot of money. And then also on dates, like when I was here before, I was single, so I would go on a couple of dates in LA, and it's so different to Germany, for example. Like, a guy will pick you up, will like pay for everything at the restaurant, will kind of decide where you're going and be like, it's a fixed date, like it will actually be like a date, let's go on a date. And in Germany we don't really have dates, I would say. Like, it's a little bit different. You usually meet at a club, or I don't know, somewhere else, or at work, and you just kind of like go for a drink, or you just meet at home or whatever. It's like more casual and it's not like as fixed, I would say, but it's interesting. It's just different. But yeah, it's definitely interesting how it works here and how it actually is pretty discriminating against guys, I would say. So if you're a group of guys and you come to LA, you might want to think about that. You might want to get a bottle at the club to get in, or like, it's really hard unless you know people. And that's just something that I realized when I was here now, because I never really noticed that before.
So we're in LA, Luisa's favorite place in the universe, and I have never been here before, so it's a brand new experience for me. And I think one of the things that I've noticed the most is how different this place is. You know, everyone's open to networking, there's so much hustle going on, everyone's on a grind, everyone's thinking about what they're going to do with their lives, how they're going to make an impact in the world, all that sort of stuff, and I think that's really, really, really cool. But I think there's some flip sides to this place that I think are a bit of a challenge for a lot of people. And you know, the thing that I've noticed the most is the difference between how guys are and how girls are here. and girls definitely get like a right of way in a lot of ways around here, especially if they're attractive. So it is sort of a different thing for guys to sort of be living. It's sort of like guys need money and girls need to be attractive to make LA fun. And I think that I haven't had an opportunity to dig deep enough into this yet to know if that's true or false. But from my immediate learnings of this place, and it may just be the kinds of places we've been because of Luisa's experience with this part of the world, but it's really tough for dudes. I was thinking about this when I was in the club the other day, and we were sort of on a table and we had bottle service and we had all this sort of stuff going on, and it was really, really cool. But when I was sort of looking at everyone else in the bar, there was just a sea of guys who were just buying drinks one at a time, not necessarily able to afford bottle service, just looking at these girls that were sitting on stage or sitting up in a booth with a bunch of guys, and they were just sort of sitting there. And I think that's one of the things that I noticed is like there is a difference and there is a level to this, which I think is really hard for a lot of guys to break through on unless they've got some significant money in their pocket. So I think it is a difficult place to be, and I think there's a lot of people that are allowing that to become part of the struggle when it comes to living here, and I think it's a challenge. Like, I think you've got to come here with the right mindset. I think you've got to come here with the mindset of this being a challenge and being something that's going to be difficult to do. And there's going to be ups and downs, and sometimes you're going to get the bottle service, sometimes you're not. Sometimes you're going to be there with a promoter, sometimes you're going to be there with a couple of girls, but it's going to be this constant grind, and I think it's the same when it comes to work, and it's the same when it comes to the overall attitude, because LA is one of those places where everyone has come from a big fish. They've been a big fish in a small pond, and then they've come to a place where they're a small fish in a big pond. And I think that's something that a lot of people struggle with, and people sort of race to the finish line here. So I think there is a big difference between being a guy and being a girl in LA, and I think as long as you're okay with that and as long as you understand that, I think you can have a lot of fun here. But if you don't, it can be a real struggle.
So it's gonna be interesting to see if Dan actually had similar experience here in LA, even though it's your first time. Like, you haven't really been here before.
Yeah.
And you've only been in a relationship, so you don't really know the difference of being single.
I think for me, I think being single here is so much different to being single at other places, because the importance on attractiveness, on wealth, on those sort of cues is so much higher than it would be in another area of the world, like Munich.
I feel like especially in LA, especially in West Hollywood, really, everyone cares so much about their looks. So everyone is pretty much a model, an actor, a musician, like someone in the media world, and usually the people that will go
personal
out,
trainer or
that will go to these clubs that we talked about, they care a lot about their presence. So they will go to the gym like 1 or 2 times a day, eat healthy, eat clean. So the standard is pretty high, I have to say. Like, you do feel kind of bad if you're not really trained. So
and I think that's something worth noting as well. Like, I think a lot of people who have tough experiences here just feel uncomfortable around that. And I think since it's put on such a pedestal, and if you are attractive and you are here, you get tables and you get bottle service and you get all this sort of stuff, or if you're just well connected, or if you've got money,
it is
or
actually,
it is a tougher thing if you come here and you don't
it's definitely
have those
more unfair, I feel like, than in other places, because if you do not have money or you do not look amazing or good, then it is definitely harder, at least for the clubbing part. Not so much for restaurants and anything else, but
it's actually less about attractiveness and just about connections.
It's all about who you know. But to be fair though, it is so much easier in LA to meet other people too, and for that, honestly, you do not have to be single. I think even as a couple, we've met quite some cool people. We've met other couples. It's the first time we actually hung out with other cool couples. Actually,
that's worth noting.
Yes,
I didn't say that in my bit. We talk about it being a different experience, you being single, but we've also done double
we've done
dates
some
that we've never done before,
and we've done some cool stuff. Like, I, for example, went with Dan took me to the Laugh Factory. No, the other one, the comedy club.
Oh, don't make that mistake in the comedy store.
The comedy store.
Comedy store.
So I would have never done that with a friend of mine or like a girlfriend of mine, and I wouldn't have done that for a date either. So I think that was actually a cool thing. Like, if you're here with your partner, I think that's a really cool date location. It's a cool thing to do. And then there is a lot of stuff that you can do in a relationship as well.
And we did go out, like Jesse and Josie. We went out with them, and we've done like couples things.
I just think that we all agreed that in general, it is to be really clear and fair here. I think everyone knows it is just more fun to go out if you're single. It's just a fact.
or go. I think okay. I'm going to preface that with clubbing is more fun.
Yeah,
when
clubbing.
Going
Not
to
going
a
out,
bar
like,
or going to a restaurant is wicked.
Clubbing.
In couple setting too.
Clubbing.
Yeah, like I think LA is a cool spot. I
Yeah.
think it's a cool place, and I think ultimately there's cool people here. I just think it's very clear on its rules. You know, it's easier if you're attractive. It's easier if you have money, and it's easier if you're well connected.
Yeah, that's
Simple
true.
as that.
So it is. It
I
can be
guess
quite
that is similar to a lot of other places, but here it's like on steroids. You know, it's
the
crazy.
amount of gyms and nail places and beauty salons and just things that you see in like healthy juices and like fat burning and surgery places, beauty surgeries. It's just insane. Like LA is a melting pot for all of these industries and stores and people. And
Because it does
preferences.
open more doors for you.
I
You know,
guess.
and so I think it's sort of
kinda
cart
sucks.
before the horse, right? But I think ultimately though, in terms of connections, in terms of that sort of stuff, it is easier to build them here. I've had more strong, fun, interesting business meetings here than I've had in Munich for the whole time I've lived there.
I agree. Like in
You know?
just 1 week, we had the coolest
Met up with
meetings.
Jason Silva, met up with
I think-
Teffy and all that. We met with like, you know, Jesse and his businesses.
Jeremy and
so the Baptist. So there's like a lot. We've met a lot of people here in the time we've been here. We've been a week.
Yeah, that was amazing.
You know?
And that's what I love about LA. I feel like LA is just a place for open people. Like if you're open and if you like to connect and if you like to meet people and you like to go out and you like to see new places and experience new things, then LA is the place.
Yeah.
But yes, it is not the most cultural place. Like if you look for history or if you look for actual cultural experience, it might not be. I mean, it might be a different cultural experience, but not the one that you might get
I think
in other big
cultural
cities.
is the right word. I don't think.
Yeah.
But yeah, I think it's a cool spot. I think it's been really interesting, and I
Yeah.
think for both of us, I think it's been a positive experience. It's just been different to what you've experienced from when you were here last.
But I still like it.
Yeah. So yeah.
So yeah, let us know what you think. Let us know what your experience is
That's actually a
as
good one.
a single person or also in a relationship. Not only necessarily about LA. Maybe there are similar cities to LA that you feel like, oh, these people are actually talking about.
Yeah.
This is the same in our city.
Yeah,
or
I feel
my
the same
city.
in London, or I feel the same in New York, or whatever.
Sydney or whatever, anywhere. So thank you so much. We hope you like this, and let us know any more topics. So we really want to do like more guys versus girls topics. So this might not be the perfect one, but if you have any questions regarding, especially where you want to have a guy's perspective and a girl's perspective, then write them in the comments, and we're very, very happy to do them the next time.
Cool. Enjoy.
Bye.